Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Larry, what's the latest around American Manganese right now?
Well, we've been very busy having conference calls. As a matter of fact, I have another one in 15 minutes. But we're getting interest, too, now from actually mining houses that finance mines around the world. So I find that very interesting because they'll have an immediate grasp of what we're doing. Whereas a lot of the other calls, it's a learning curve. So that's exciting. And the market, I mean, I'm really happy with what I see in the market. To give you a good example is when the Dow went up, gold went down. When gold went up, when the Dow went down, gold went up. But now you're starting to see them react in tandem, which is getting back to normal in the market. And I'd like to talk a little bit about our V-shaped recovery. I mentioned this way back in the early days of the Dow crashing, that I thought this would be a V-shaped recovery, and looking at the chart, that is holding up. We've gained back about 5,000 or 6,000 points, and we're probably 5,000 points under the high of the Dow. And so that's really interesting. I just caution people that there will be corrections in the market. I said this would be kind of a jiggy upward trend where you're going to have days it's going to go back, and then you're going to have days where it's going to go up, but the general trend will be up. And so I'm glad that theory is holding up, because that means recovery in the markets is imminent, and we can all get back to business as far as the markets are concerned. So there's other things that are out there, like Corvid, the coronavirus is going to destroy Tesla, and those types of headlines, which are just plain ridiculous. The Tesla is still plowing ahead with everything that they're doing. Their stock is gaining on the board, and yet these guys keep talking about the death of Tesla and all this crap that's going on, which doesn't help anybody in the EV space, and that's where we're at. So I think that's a bunch of bunk, and Elon Musk is plowing ahead as usual. I thought that was a big fight he took when he built his first gigafactory in just outside of Reno, and yet that was accomplished and done, and now he's, I understand, at number 4. And they're just the ground's all leveled, and they're ready to start building in Germany. So, I'm just seeing this as an opportunity for. It was an opportunity certainly for people to pick up Tesla before below 500, but now that's starting to look like it may not be there much longer. So that's enough on the markets. Other things that I'd like to talk about is the coronavirus. The coronavirus has affected everybody across the board, bar none, and it's set back timelines significantly, probably some up to a year. And so that's unfortunate, but it's not going to be a lasting situation, and we can move onward. Now, the other thing that they're talking about is that air pollution seems to affect, if you're in a polluted area where contaminants are getting into the air, mostly through burning of fossil fuels and probably waste and everything else. This is where people are more likely to get the virus, and so you got to be careful depending on the jurisdiction you're in and what that's going to do. What's that do for us? Well, it shows up that protecting the environment should be the first thing on everybody's mind. We've worked hard to develop patents and do our pilot testing, and we're talking to a lot of companies. That hasn't slowed down. As a matter of fact, that's increased. And but because it seems like now the tenure is they want to have a total solution. which we can offer. And so I think this is going to be good for the company, just not that far down the road. We've got a solution where we put nothing into the air. We put no contaminants into the air or the environment. And, that still continues today. There's still being batteries dumped in the waste dumps. There's still the final solution is, burning the battery or burning the powders. And, again, that releases contaminants into the air. And it's not efficient, and it's not going to alleviate the supply or demand of cobalt or lithium, for that example. And we get all those elements back, close to 100%. High purities, we've tested material for Tier 1 companies. Everybody's aware of that, and we've had great success in that. And we've, produced the hydroxides and the sulfates separately, which is something that was new to our business plan. But now we've proven that we can do that, and we did that with a Tier 1 company. So, I'll give you an example. I was interviewed by a group yesterday, and they seemed more intent on really shooting the company down than they did on helping us put the news out there. They kept calling it a proprietary system that we had, the proprietary process, and I kept correcting him and saying it was a patented, and they said, well, what's the difference, There's really no difference between that. And I thought, God almighty, who am I talking to? And so we've asked them not to publish that, and because it was basically a demeaning, and I've had hundreds of interviews from all over the world, and this is the most demeaning one that I had. Didn't want to listen to what I had to say. Was only interested in pushing their own agenda. And, but that is not, they're not the only people that think that way. They don't realize that if you do have a solution and it's not patented, everybody in the world's going to have it, and you're not going to build out a company that way. And, we certainly are protected by that. I get the lithium briefs every day, and I see dozens of patents being filed on battery manufacturing. And so don't tell me that patents are no good, because these big companies wouldn't be spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year on patents if they didn't protect their technology. And so, that's just one of the burps, as far as I'm concerned, in our continuing flow of information. And we're going to be closed tomorrow, as everybody else is, and we'll be back into work here on Monday. And, I've got some important conference calls on Monday, and Zarko and I will attend to that. So, I just tell everybody, chins up, we're not going to stay down here forever, and, the stock looks like it wants to go, and eventually it will. You can only stand on the spring so long, and then suddenly your foot goes off the spring, and it goes up, and that's what we're hoping to see in the market, because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of companies out there that have lost value. It's got nothing to do with their product. It's got nothing to do with their business plan. It's got nothing to do with anything but the virus, and they will all pop back more rapidly than the ordinary market will. So I wish everybody a great weekend. I'm looking forward to it. The sun's shining here. And it doesn't mean you can go out, you go anywhere. There's not a lot of traffic on the roads, so people won't be getting out. And I say to all of our shareholders and investors to stay safe. And that's pretty much what it's been a short week, so I don't have a lot more to report.
Larry, if people wanted more information or information on where you're traded, where should they go?
They can go to our website, which they can do due diligence on. We're very transparent about what we do. Since our patents have been filed, anybody can actually go and research our patents and see where we're at in the scope of things. But you can go there to AmericanManganeseInc.com. We're traded on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. We're traded on the OTC under the AMYZF, and we're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. You can always reach the company or myself at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com, or give us a phone call at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
Well, Jim, you're very welcome, and you have a great weekend.
You too. I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on April 9th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.